Up until the 2020s, Senegal had never won a major international trophy, but they're now two-time winners of the Africa Cup of Nations, having come out as champions twice in the last 3 editions. How did they grow this successful and dominant all of a sudden? Well, first of all, it didn't just happen all of a sudden. What you're seeing now are returns on years of investment and steady dedication towards developing football in the nation. Right now, Senegal boasts arguably the most talented crop of players in Africa and even in the world. And in this video today, we'll be talking about how Senegal produces so much talent. Senegal's first Africa Cup of Nations appearance came in 1965. They finished 4th out of 8 teams in that tournament, then failed to get out of their group in the next edition. You would think that was rock bottom, but the West African nation then failed to make it to the AFCON in each of the next 8 editions, only returning in 1986 where they once again failed to make it out of the group. Senegal would fail to qualify for the 1988 edition in Morocco, before then returning in the 90s where they started to build some momentum both on the continental and on the global stage. The nation's inconsistency during this period was a result of a number of factors. First of all, having only gained independence from France in 1960, Senegal was still trying to find its feet as a sovereign nation. And then on top of that, in 1965, CAF introduced a law limiting the number of overseas players in each team to just 2. So Senegal could not really benefit from their diaspora. That limitation was lifted in 1982, and well, it so happened that coincided with Senegal's gradual emergence as a contender in African football. In the 1990s, Senegal really started to make major strides in football. They finished 4th at the 1990 AFCON and then went on to host the 1992 edition. It was the first and only time so far they've hosted a major tournament, and despite being knocked out in the quarterfinals, that signaled the start of a dynasty for them. Hosting the AFCON gave them a chance to massively improve the infrastructure in the country. There were heavy investments in stadiums and training facilities ahead of the tournament, and the local football teams heavily benefited from them even long after the tournament was over. Domestic football in Senegal improved because professional players and youth prospects in the country now had the opportunity to train and play in facilities that met the world standard. This turned out to be an investment that would eventually yield returns, but not immediately. Once again, Senegal only got as far as the quarterfinals at the 1994 AFCON, but it got worse as they failed to qualify for the next 2 editions after that. But when their neighbours Ghana and Nigeria hosted it in 2000, they were back there and were quarter-finalists. It wasn't the result they wanted, but anybody who had watched Senegal in that tournament could tell that they had made massive progress. They were only knocked out by hosts and eventual finalists Nigeria thanks to an extra-time goal. So it wasn't so bad after all. This was the beginning of Senegal's golden generation. This squad had players like El Hadji Diouf, Salif Diao, Henry Camara, Aliou Cisse, Soleimani Camara, Papa Bouba Diop, and even current coach Pape Thiaw, all together in their prime and playing for top European clubs. But it wasn't just about names, they did the work on the pitch. Led by Bruno Metsu, these players actually took Senegal to a major final for the first time ever. They came so close to winning the AFCON trophy in 2002, but they lost out to Cameroon on penalties. It was definitely heartbreaking, but they had a bright future to look forward to. That same year, they went to the World Cup for the first time in their history, and in their first ever World Cup game, they defeated defending champions France. That game alone highlighted how far they'd come as a footballing nation, but they didn't stop there. After draws against Uruguay and Denmark, they finished second in their group, which meant they went to face Sweden in the round of 16. They defeated the Europeans, which meant that they moved on to the quarterfinals, becoming only the second African nation to ever achieve that feat after Cameroon first did it in 1990. To achieve all of that in just their debut World Cup outing was truly iconic. No trophy was won, but the year 2002 did wonders for Senegalese football. It was the year that they really announced themselves to the world as a serious footballing nation. This made Senegal more attractive to foreign-born nationals. So when FIFA announced in 2004 that a player could represent a country different from the one they were born in, provided they have a strong connection to that country, we started to see more foreign-born players pledge allegiance to Senegal. By 2019, 15 years after that rule change, Senegal had 10 foreign-born players in their AFCON squad, most of whom quickly became prominent figures on the pitch and in the dressing room. Players like Kalidou Koulibaly, Edouard Mendy, Salif Sane, Abdoulaye Diallo and Keita Balde were born in Europe, but they switched to their ancestral country Senegal, bringing their experience and expertise to help elevate the country's status in football. It also helped that the football in the country had also developed to the point where Senegal themselves had now started to produce some global superstars. Players like Sadio Mane, Idrissa Gana Gueye and Cheikhou Kouyaté, all born in Senegal, were playing for top Premier League clubs at the time, while Ismaila Sarr, who was also in that squad, would move to England soon. That year they reached the final of the AFCON yet again, but they were defeated by Algeria. They continued to build on that, and it finally happened for them at the next edition. Senegal had become a force to reckon with in African football, and they finally got their reward, winning the AFCON for the first time in 2022 after they defeated record champions Egypt in the final. It was history, a product of years of hard work, strategic planning and proper investment. That same year, Senegal reached the knockout rounds of the World Cup yet again. They were one of just 2 African nations to make it out of their group at the tournament, the other being eventual semi-finalist Morocco. They had a bit of a slump in the 2023 AFCON when, as defending champions, they were knocked out in the round of 16 by hosts and eventual winners Côte d'Ivoire, but they've now returned to reclaim their crown. What this means is that Senegal have now reached the final in 3 of the last 4 AFCON editions, and at the same time have secured qualification for 3 consecutive World Cup tournaments for the first time in their history. This is dominance and consistency right here, and none of it happened by mistake. Senegalese football has gotten so attractive that players are now eager to pledge their allegiance to the country very early on in their careers, and this is evidenced by the current crop of players in the squad. Iliman Ndiaye was born in France, but he switched to Senegal at the age of 22. Pape Gueye, scorer of the winner in the final, was also born in France, and he also pledged allegiance to Senegal at 22. Antoine Mendy was born in France, and he made the switch at the age of 21. And of course, the one that has been much talked about, Ibrahim Mbaye, the 17-year-old European treble winner with PSG, who was born in France but has already committed his future to Senegal as a teenager. This is how Senegal has been able to go from an obscure footballing nation to one that produces so much talent. But it's obviously not just been a case of dependence on foreign-born players. The investment in football in the country from back in the 90s has also started to pay off. Senegalese academies have also been producing top talents through the years, most popular of the lot being Generation Foot. Founded in 2000, this academy has produced and exported so many top football stars, including Pape Matar Sarr, Lamine Camara, Ismaila Sarr, and the most famous of the lot, Sadio Mane. So this is not even a case of being completely helped out by players who were born in Europe. A Senegalese academy can actually boast of producing the country's greatest ever player, 2-time CAF African Footballer of the Year, and one of the greatest ever players from the African continent. That is real progress. Diambars, another Senegalese academy founded by Patrick Vieira, has also produced global stars like Idrissa Gana Gueye and Abdoulaye Seck, both of whom played huge roles in winning Senegal both their AFCON trophies. And not only has the country developed players, they've also developed top coaches. It is surely also a thing of pride for the Senegalese that the 2 major trophies they've won were achieved by homegrown coaches. All of these highlight how much progress football in this nation has experienced thanks to intentional planning and investment. From being ranked the 99th best nation in 2013 according to FIFA, Senegal are now the 12th best footballing country in the world. That's some some real growth in a little over a decade, and the way Senegal have been able to achieve this is something that should be studied by other African nations. It's now time to hear from you guys. Do you think that Senegal will continue to dominate African football, or is there another nation coming for their crown? Tell us what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so that you never miss out on new content. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.